Feel what I'm saying? You hear NLE criticize NBA about, oh, you the reason for this, you the reason for niggas doing this and crashing out, beating bitches and all that type of shit. No, he's not. He never was, you know what I'm saying? Neither was Tupac, NWA, Ice Cube, and all them. They tried to do that to them too. They were saying, yeah, your music is the reason why people doing this and doing that. No, it's not. Gang bangers and shit like that have always existed before rap. You know what I'm saying? The best way I could put it for you simpletons, the niggas that hate rap, or the white people that don't like rap, you ever seen the movie Warriors? A lot of people like the movie Warriors. And you know how they was gangs and they would meet up at night and fight and shit like that. Well, a rapper is like somebody who was in those gangs and they writing their life down. That's all a rapper is. So you getting mad at a person just documenting their life. You know what I'm saying? Well, it makes other kids want to act like this or act like that. That's your fucking problem. That's your fucking fault as a parent, stupid motherfucker. So all a rapper do is document that shit. You know what I'm saying? They been selling drugs. They been fighting each other. You know what I'm saying? Rap is not influencing nobody to do anything. Matter of fact, a lot of the people that in the suburbs can't even emulate that life anyway, because you got to know people that know other people to get you in that life anyway. So you just copying or just basically fantasizing. But it wasn't a fantasy for these rappers. They was actually living like that. They was actually in the projects with these people that was shooting and all that type of shit, like the Hot Boys. You know, the group Hot Boys, they really knew the Hot Boys that was like, you know, around Louisiana just going crazy and shit like that. So all a rapper does is just talk about the life that they seen or know, people that they know and shit like that. Same thing with Sexy Red. They say, oh, Sexy Red is such a bad influence. Sexy Red is already women that was just like Sexy Red. They dress like her, talk like her, dance like her, show up to school with nothing on, all type of shit like that. They've been doing that before Sexy Red even existed. You know what I'm saying? Sexy Red is just the voice of those type of women. She's just relatable. She just writing. So all Sexy Red is doing is documenting how she lived. You know what I'm saying? How she used to live in the projects. That's Sexy Red. And it's a lot of women that live just like Sexy Red before Sexy Red existed. You know what I'm saying? And they living just like Sexy Red without listening to Sexy Red. But when they hear a voice like Sexy Red, with baby daddy, this and that, ha, ha, ha. To outsiders, you're not even supposed to be listening to the shit anyway. You're like, that's a bad influence because you don't know people that's like her. Same thing with gangster rap. You don't know niggas that's like that. So you say, oh, that's a bad influence, but it's already people that live like that that'll fuck you over for nothing. You know what I'm saying? For this and that, just to get this or that. Anyway, that's the whole thing about rap. Rap is not derogatory. It ain't gangster rap. So that NLE shit, talking about NBA, he just wants sympathy points. You got niggas beating on their bitches. Niggas been beating on bitches. You know what I'm saying? So NLE just talking for sympathy points, and YoungBoy has not responded to the bitch ass nigga yet. Hold on, y'all. I had to get on my night clothes. But yo, for NLE coming at YoungBoy talking about something this and that, but YoungBoy is reaching a crowd of people that understands him. They understand the projects and the hood that he come from. They understand the type of niggas he was dealing with and, you know, the life that he lived. You don't understand that, so you think it's a bad influence. Or you talking about popping niggas or doing that or doing this. Or you talking about hoes doing that and doing this. But hoes do that and hoes do this. Niggas do that, niggas do this. So you gotta do this and do that. But because you don't understand that type of life, you say, oh, it's a bad influence. Or rap is making people do this. No, it's not. Rap, people been doing that before rap. You just gotta know your history, but you don't know your history because you're a bitch ass nigga. So NLE is getting sympathy points, trying to say, oh, you got niggas beating their bitches. Niggas been beating their bitches. You know what I mean? They been doing it. You know what I'm saying? And NBA, I don't think he influenced nobody beating nobody ass, but you know what I'm saying? We know what you're doing, NLE. You know what I'm saying? Rap has never been derogatory. You feel what I'm saying? All they doing is reporting on the women, you know, and what they experiencing with them. You know what I'm saying? So if a rapper say, I went and got some money, now these hoes on me like honey. You know what I'm saying? She suck, eat the dick up. Freaky bitch can eat the dick up. He not talking out of thin air. You know what I'm saying? Women are actually doing this, you know what I mean? And by definition, slut, hole, thought, bop, they all this, you know what I'm saying? And this shit not old. You know what I'm saying? This has been back in King days. You know what I'm saying? All this shit been happening. Drug dealers, kings, conquerors, all that shit. It's always women who was down to do anything and do whatever for niggas who had money, who had resources, status, whatever the case may be. All a rapper does is rap about it. All he does is talk about it in word format and rhythm. That's all he do. So it never been derogatory if you think about the shit. You know what I'm saying? So you are what you are. You know I mean, like, if you a hoe or you doing shit for ballers, NBA players, you know, race car drivers, skateboarders, you know what I mean? I heard a nigga say back in the day, skateboarders was like banging models and shit like that. If you a woman that's doing this shit, you by definition a thought, a three or four, all that shit. All a rapper did and do and ever did was just talk about hoes. You know what I'm saying? Man, these hoes do this, these bitches do this. For a bottle of Chris, this hoe do that, do this, do that. These hoes ain't loyal, these bitches ain't shit. You know what I mean? They was talking about women that was actually of that character. They weren't talking about random women. Snoop Dogg, Tupac, Dre, all the way to Playboy Cardi, Lil Wayne, they talking about women who's of that character. Women that pop pills, be in the club, be in the back of the bar in the section, waiting for a nigga to slurp a nigga. They're not talking about a random woman that works at an office. They're not talking about a woman who come from a good family, who married or do this or do that, whatever case may be. So you shouldn't be offended. It never was offensive to a regular average woman. I mean, you shouldn't even be listening to that type of fucking music if that's not the type of stuff that you represent. So why is it offensive for you to be, you know, they talk about this and talk about that if you know that's not you? And if you is that type of woman, you gotta look in the mirror and realize that you be doing this and doing that. So rap was never derogatory. All they doing is reporting on what they seen and the type of character you was and represented. All they doing is put it in word format. So yeah, like a woman in a brothel or these undercover hotels and these underground like places where these women be like young, or you know, they might not be young, they probably done grew up in that environment. If rappers talked about those kind of women in that way, that would be derogatory. But rappers have never ever talked about those type of women. They talk about the women that's in the environments like the clubs, the bar, the projects, the hood. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? She ain't look at me like that back then, came back, now she sucking my dick. You know what I mean? You got women that set niggas up. You got women that deal with this drug dealer and deal with that drug dealer, pillow talk. This drug dealer can rob this drug dealer because she done pillow talk about where he doing and who he know, when he get his picked up and all. These are the type of women that these rappers was talking about. So it was never derogatory. They're simply calling them what they are. You know what I mean? They're using the words of what these type of women are and what they represent. And it's always been like this. Calling women sluts, bitches, whores was never derogatory. You know what I mean? Because they were talking about a certain type of woman, and these type of women were doing these kind of things. You know what I mean? They was doing all the stuff they talk about in their songs, and they was doing it for money, status, to be around these niggas, and this is not new. Women like this have always existed back in King's ages and all type of stuff. What would be derogatory, which no rapper has ever done it, but what would be derogatory would be if a rapper talk about women that's in like these brothels and stuff, because a lot of these women are sex trafficked and things like that, you know, drugged up, kidnapped and things like that. If rappers was to talk about we go in there and we do all this and that to these, you know, brothel women, that would be derogatory because they don't really want to be there. You know, they drugged up, they gotta be there. But they never ever talked about that. But since people be so woke, they never talked about that.